right. Welcome, wonderful listeners, to the Shadow and Starlight Podcast, where two friends dive deep into fantasy and romantasy books. We get into the stories, characters, world building, lore, and much more. And most importantly, we will have a damn good time while doing it.
So buckle your seatbelts for this wild roller coaster ride of emotions, magical worlds, and laughs. I'm Kinsey.
I'm Kana.
And today we're covering chapters 77 through 90 of When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, aka this is the last episode.
First and foremost, please listen carefully to our content warning. These are adult books we're covering, and neither of us have a filter, so this podcast is rated R and for those 18 plus. Regarding spoilers, if you have not finished the entire When the Moon Hatched book, please come back after doing so to listen to our episodes. While we are discussing this stretch of chapters, we will be doing so with the perspective of what happens in the entire book. This way, we can really dive deeper into the theories and appreciate the masterful foreshadowing of Sarah A. Parker. So going forward, all episodes on our show will contain spoilers for the whole series in question.
Next, if you like what you hear today and want more, please come back next Thursday, and next Thursday, and next Thursday, and every Thursday after that for a new episode. S1EP5, we would love to hear your feedback to better ourselves and expand our book-loving community. Please feel free to give us reviews, reach out to us on social media, and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and watch us on YouTube at Shadow and Starlight Pod.
Yeah, we already talked about it, but it's our last episode for When the Moon Hatched. Not our last episode ever. We're just getting started, but we will most likely be covering book 2 when it comes out in October next year. I mean, I can't think of a reason why we wouldn't, so we probably will. And while we theorize and wait on that, we have other books on our roster I'm so excited to get to. So Quicksilver, we're going to be hitting that real soon. I know the year's not over, but I feel like it was in my top 5, and I'm just so excited to talk about it. Yay.
That's interesting. Now I have something to look forward to. I feel like I'm finally getting to the juicy part, so I don't know. I'm excited.
Well, yeah. Well, I can't say anything else. But also, me and Mackenzie have been freaking out because we just saw tonight that Sarah A. Parker liked and commented on one of our pictures on Instagram and shared it on her story, and we were like, "Oh my god, what's happening?"
A freaking really milestone.
Yes, love it.
So excited. My cheeks already hurt.
Oh god. Ooh, I'd be smiling too much. All right.
To kick off our episode, Kana's going to lead us through our Shadow and Starlight synopsis, aka her unhinged summary detailing the events of these chapters.
Rave awakes being spooned, ooh la la, and thinks back to her epic night of dancing, laughing, and kissing the perfect man. Wanting to procrastinate a serious conversation Khan insists she had before going on her murder mission, Rave asks him what adult activities they used to do in this bedroom, which is extra funny because she word vomited to Khan about her sex dream that she had after one too many cocktails the night before. And finally, we arrive at the spice. I'm not going to give you a play-by-play, but yeah, they bang, they bump, they fuck, they slap. There is some light finger blasting, and before the home run, Khan tells her that he's made the executive decision to not let her erase him from her memory. He dangles that orgasm right in front of her like a carrot until she agrees, yielding because she's gotta have that D. Afterwards, she dreads the adulting soon happening, and Khan tells her to suck it up, bitch. This is bigger than you and your terrible coping mechanisms. And we learn once again that not only can Khan lay it down on his woman, he can also cook. So not only can he make soup, he can make the whole continental breakfast buffet. While he prepares the grub, Ray ponders how she got from winning the most important scrippy game of her life to being horny and confused. And considering she can't stop staring at the ass, girl, we know how you got here. Determined to get out of this conversation, Rave sends Khan a big whiff of you-know-what, teasing him before walking out. In the next chapter, Rave awakes from a firelark nightmare. Turns out she's a sleep talker because Khan demands to know what a firelark is and what she was dreaming about. She storms out for a good old underwater scream in the loft, and Khan follows. Before he can interrogate her further, the two see a moon plume burning up in the sun, struggling to get to dawn with her rider, Rex Zaros, you motherfucker. Rave / Slatra immediately go into revenge mode and suit the fuck up with an obscene amount of knives. Before she can go slay her enemies, Khan convinces her to stay because Rek is toting a white flag, and killing him on their soil would trigger a whole ass war that they aren't ready for yet. She agrees, shockingly, and Khan leaves to handle Wreck. Daddy Khan enters the stronghold and heads out to where our precious little Leary is hiding in the shade, refusing to enter the sun with a man that needs to take his ego to anger management or jail or right off the tallest cliff possible. The king we know him to be, Khan orders Wreck to leave Leary and even lies about their healer being too far away to save his dragon from her wounds. Asshole number one agrees, and we learn that he's actually working for Tyroth, searching for Princess Kaisari, who is missing. Not surprising to us, Rave decides she is more of an action person than a keep my promises person. She climbs up a big ass cliff to where Leary is laying, and the two bond over their shared trauma. Rave shocks us all with her vulnerability, admitting she thinks she failed Satya in her past life and letting the tears fall down. This is a rare moment for our girl. The two appear to have their bond snap into place, and Rave vows to protect Leary forever. That's so cute. We learn that Leary is a teenager, and Rave stays with her while the painful healing process is completed by Agni. Before Agni goes to rest, Rave makes sure that she's not going to tell Khan about how many healing runes she has on her body from her time as the Fire Lark. Fortunate timing, because Khan was eavesdropping and demands to know what she's hiding. Rave again shocks us with her vulnerability, telling him how Rek killed Essie, but not that he whipped her. Khan tells her where Rek is headed so that she can track him down, releasing her with the hope that she will return to him in their inner circle.
No.
We get a very interesting Rek Pov at the end at a bar, the Velvet Snog.
Dang.
That's why I said Velvet Snoggin, because they fuck in this episode, and there's a bar called the Velvet Snog. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see him.
It is quickly confirmed by Rek's inner monologue that he is even worse than we ever could have imagined, which is just shocking. Feigning niceties, he reveals his plan to murder his escort to Bothame and steal his dragon, and also reveals his creepy crush on Kaisari. Ew. Rek enters his suite for the night to find a woman waiting who begins to speak about how she doesn't like fire and how she used to fight in the pits. We, as the reader, start to internally cheer because we have waited all book for Rave to dish out her particular brand of justice on this motherfucker. She disables him with Claude and an iron pen, and the other enters the chat. And the next chapter opens up with the other straddling a mewling Rek, debating where to start first. She opens with the classic bitch slap, and then proceeds to torture this man in all kinds of creative and very deserving ways. She wields Ignos to bestow the same cruelty that Leary endured under the sun, surprising Rek with the fact that she can wield 3 songs, but little does he know, it's actually 4. We catch up with Vea and Arithia, who also hates cold weather and snow, just like me. Exactly why I left Colorado and will never return. She is disguised as a servant she knocked out and is ordered to the king's chambers immediately. She arrives to find her murderous, sadistic fucking asshole of a brother who apparently impregnated said servant. After he leaves, Vea finds a diary and is devastated to learn that Eloin lied to protect herself and Khan and surprise Vea. You're an auntie. Well, you're already an auntie, but you're an auntie to the brother that you actually like. Kaisari is Khan's daughter, and Tyroth was just about to learn about her true parentage at the time of the final entry. And the very final chapter in this book is in Arkin's Pov, who is the scavenger king. He has captured Kaisari, who is rocking back and forth and talking nonsense to her Tiara boyfriend. She passes him the blank parchment lark he demanded she sign her name on, only to find that she scrawled, "Kill the sadistic fuck," within her signature. Rather amused, Arkin muses about his revenge on Khan for killing their father before he could, and his plan to conquer the burn. As one lark takes flight, another very familiar one comes in. It's Nee, our girl.
Hey, girl.
My girl.
Girl. One, I would like to say before we move on, I am so happy that she finally got to kill Rex Zaros. She's been talking about this revenge all book. Literally, she'll be eating like a bowl of soup and she's like, I want to kill Rex Zaros. Or she's like making love to Khan. She's like, I want to kill Rex Zaros. Like, she's just like, she finally got to get her revenge on him.
Yes. Lovely. I was worried when it was getting towards the end of the book that it wasn't going to happen and it was going to be in later books and we're going to have to wait for it. And especially after we saw in real time how he treated Larry, I was just like, oh, this motherfucker's got to die.
Yeah. The amount of times in this book that she said, I need to go kill Rex Zaros is insane. Probably like almost every chapter she mentioned how she wanted to go kill him.
Yeah,
So,
if it was like a drinking game or like drink every time she wants to murder
oh
Rectosaurus,
my
you'd be
gosh.
fucked like 10
Yes.
chapters. Ah,
All right, now we're going to discuss the diary entries, starting with King Austin, who returns to the burn with his two shit stains for sons for the great flirt. Hint, hint. Remember that. Just throwing hints out there. Keep that in mind. Tyroth corners Rave in a corner, and Elowen. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wrong name. Sorry, guys. Tyroth corners Elowen, and Elowen, being the badass that she is, she's strapped and ready to go. She got She's strapped. She's ready. She also gets a little sassy with the king and tells him to eat dragon shit, which I love that. I love that. Later on that night at the feast, Khan and Tyroth sort of have a stare off, but it's really one sided because Khan is actually just staring down Tyroth for obvious reasons. Oster makes Vea cry, then she throws a fit, skewers some meat, and then Oster announces Khan's soon to be absence after the great flirt. I hope your wheels are turning. Hints, hints, people, hints. Said about his departure, Elowen and Khan make sweet, sweet love and enjoy each other before it is over. Wink, wink. Again.
I'm sorry, I'm like holding on for dear life over here. You're killing it. You're killing it.
It was a setup? What? Once Khan is out of the picture, Austin interrogates, not Khan, Austin interrogates Elowen and makes her confess that her unborn child is actually Khan's baby. He threatens her and makes her pretend that the baby is indeed Tyroth's child and makes her promise to never see Khan again. Cue their breakup by letter. Feyre, is that you?
I forgot about that. That's funny.
That's the first thing I thought of when I was like, she broke up with him through a note. Damn.
Goddamn. Fira.
And then Austin kind of talks shit about his son's ability to rule. Burn. The more she grows, the weaker she becomes. And Elowen knows that the birth of her child will be the first of many trials that she has to face. So sad.
Damn. Yeah, you're gonna die. Face that trial.
Yeah. Now that we're finished with the summary, time to head into our chapter chat section where we will discuss all notable things in this stretch of chapters, including theories, foreshadowing, and more.
Yes. So the first thing I want to talk about is Rave's Firelark flashback from chapter 82 because it was a lot of information. As much as the Scavenger King epilogue gives us a bunch of really important info, I honestly felt like this flashback is the most telling thing that we need to discuss in this episode. So we're going to go through a couple quotes and dissect them. So the first one is quote, "I know it hurts. The orange flame tethered to the tip of the Scavenger King's finger glints off his sooty eyes. But pain hardens you, Firelark. It makes you so exhilarating to watch in the pits, and my coffers love it. Sometime soon I'll wear my bronze crown, and you won't ever have to hurt again. I'll be on my rightful throne, and you'll be by my side enjoying the spoils of your battles." End quote. So here we grasp that Arken's plan is to take the throne with the Firelark as his personal assassin, I'm guessing, or something. I'm not sure exactly what his plan is. He wants to take the throne, but Rave is factored into it somehow, like even with him not realizing that she is Elowen Navon, but she's probably going to be his right hand woman.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read the next quote, but it basically refers to how much torture she would undergo, that the flesh thread would struggle to heal her before she was due back in the pits. And it stood with me for a second. It was such a horrifying look into her life as a Firelark, undergoing extreme torture that would barely be healed, and then having to fight in the pits and then live in a cage the rest of the time. I can't even fathom how terrible this was, even more so because it was all she knew after hatching, because we know that he got her directly after she hatched. She knows nothing. She didn't know how to read, write, or speak, I think. So this is all she knew. And that's terrible. But it really helps us, or at least me, understand her mindset in this book. And I also want to just point out, like, how terrible is it that she was tortured with fire because Slatra's inside her. Like, Slatra loves the cold. So it's extra terrible that she was tortured with fire.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I don't know. It is really sad. I didn't even think about like her new life right after she hatched being so torturous. Like, it's just so sad. Because, like, she came back not really knowing the works of the world. And so she had to
Yeah.
relearn everything. And for her to be introduced, like, to that first is really sad. And then that's why she's such a dreamer, because she endured so much trauma at first. And now she, like, looks to the moons for comfort. And I think it's beautiful, but it's sad at the same time. Like, dang.
Yeah. It's amazing and incredible that she is a dreamer after going through all that for seems like a long period of time. Crazy.
Yeah.
Ugh. All right. Aside from the flashback, something about her firelark thing that we gleaned from these chapters is when Brave tells Rek that she used to fight in the pits. Rek's response to this is interesting. Quote, "Sweetheart, nobody makes it out of those pits alive. That's half the fun. Unless you're trying to tell me you're firelark." End quote. So Rave's previous reputation precedes her in this moment. And we learn the name of the battle pits as well in this line. And it's just kind of interesting. Even Rek has heard of the Firelark, but he doesn't know it's her. But it's clear that Rave had some sort of reputation that the lowlifes of the world recognize. I don't think Khan has obviously heard of this name or the pits, because I think he would know because he was asking her what a Firelark was earlier. And so I'm assuming he doesn't know it, or he would shut it down really fast.
Yeah. I'm curious how Rek knew that there was a such thing as a firelark. Like, is this a common thing that people know? Or does he have a personal connection with the Scavenger King, or know somebody who knows the Scavenger King? I'm curious about the connections there.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
know.
weird.
I feel like Rek is the type of person that would go to the battle pits to watch and like bet.
Maybe. Okay. But then wouldn't he recognize her
That's
then?
how I'm guessing. I don't know. Maybe they were dressed up or their faces were so fucked up. I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird.
I need answers.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about Nia. Hey, girl.
We missed you.
We missed you. So, as we know, Nia is a parchment lark and most readers' favorite background character. But what role does she play in the foreshadowing of the story? Well, at the beginning of the story, when Nia was first introduced, Rafe believed that the firelark was sent to her on accident because Nia held the note, quote, "I need you." However, in the stretch of chapters, we learned that this cutie parchment lark was not sent to Rafe as a mistake, but it was indeed sent to her on purpose by her daughter, Kaizari, who has been entrapped by none other than the dirty old Scavenger King. Kaizari sent the parchment lark on a whim after a moment of desperation and longing. We still question if Kaizari is unbeknownst to her mother being alive, or if her bond with Kalis has something to do with Rave being reincarnated. Rave, on the other hand, sent me back to her original sender after the death of her beloved friend, Essie, R.I.P. girl. And that is where we are now. In the epilogue, Nee finds her way back to Kaizari. Quote, "The damaged lark dips between the two bars where Princess Kaizari is bound on the ground in a ball beneath her filthy blanket. The scoop of her hand, a landing pad, and the little lark dives forward, face first, crushing its nose against her fingers. Kaizari flinches, opens her eyes. The lark flips into its back, bearing 3 small, perfectly scripted letters upon the underside of its belly. Nee." End quote. So basically, we put the pieces together with Nee in this chapters. We know that Kaizari was the one who originally sent the note, which she just had a moment and she just wanted to send a note to her mother. We still don't know if she knew if Ray was alive, or she just wanted to do it because she was just desperate in the moment and just was longing the love of her mother. And Ray receives this letter from Nee and thinks that it's a mistake. And I find it interesting how in the beginning of the story, right before she sends it back to Kaizari, she like tells herself, "No, you don't. Like, you don't need me. Like, nobody needs me. I'm a mess up. Everybody I love like dies." And I feel like that's so sad. But in this moment, we figure out that she's actually needed. Her daughter is in great danger and really needs her mother right now.
I'm not gonna lie, on my first read I completely forgot about Nee, and I was like, oh shit. She's back.
She's
I was
back.
like, oh, I figured that was important. I just completely forgot about it. All right, let's talk about another foreshadowing tidbit. The other, a girl Slatra. And sadly, this is the last time we're going to talk about Slatra until next October. Cry, cry, cry. I'm obsessed with Slatra for some reason. She seems so cool. But this is the last time we'll talk about it. But you could also tell random people on the street about Slatra if you want.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. In this stretch of chapters, we get two of the biggest confirmations so far that Slotra is the other. She interprets Rex's frantic screams as saying, "You're dead," and we get some light humor. Quote, "The other toughs. Strictly speaking, he's not incorrect," end quote. So this is the first piece of evidence. She's basically referencing the fact that she died, which I guess she kind of did, but also she's alive? Question mark. And then another line soon comes after, referencing how Rek deigned to cover Lyri's eyes. Quote, "A small mercy that was not bestowed upon herself many cycles ago," end quote. And on my first read, this is when I was like, holy shit, this is Slotra, because I remember that immediately took me back into Elowen's diary entries about how she had to watch Slotra burn under the sun. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this has got to be her. So I think at this point, we can all agree that she's the other, but I'm all ears for any other crazy theories because you never know.
Yeah.
Next, I want to talk about how clear it becomes that Slotra loves Rave so dearly in these chapters. Quote, "The one she loves did not fall easily into the watery den. She battled and slashed, kicked and screamed, then only went still and quiet once the other packed her in a tomb of ice to protect her. The other understands loss, death, and pain differently from Rave, who is but a hatchling in her eyes. But Rave will grow, adapt, embrace, and therefore conquer if she is open to it." This is a cool look into exactly how Slotra feels and thinks about Rave, and that she's kind of like a nurturing mother in a sense. She doesn't coddle Rave, but she's clearly affectionate towards her and views her as like her little baby hatchling dragon. That's cute. Which is also funny since she technically is a dragon's baby ish. I mean, she hatched out of a moon, not an egg, but like,
Yeah, I see
yeah,
it.
that's your mom. And I
Basically.
love that despite Rave fighting it, she locks Rave in mind jail so that she doesn't have to see the terrible things that Rek deserves to have inflicted on him. She's like, nope, go in timeout. It's grown up time. I got this. And also, we learn that Slotra has gone so far as to, quote, "absorb Ignis's spitting, scalding tune so it doesn't trigger her strong but delicate host." So Rave doesn't even know that she can wield all four beats. So this is when we learn that she doesn't know she can, which is interesting because in another scene, Khan was asking her, like, "Tell me you don't wield fire. Like, I know you do," because he knows it's Elowen.
Yeah.
So Rave doesn't even know, and Slotra has been taking this from her so that she doesn't have to get triggered by her Firelark memories. So sweet.
We love Slotra.
Slotra's such a good parent.
She is. Now we're going to talk about some of our theories. And the first one we're going to talk about is what happened to Khan while Rave was in the moon. We're going to start with quote, "I think back to some of the memories I've been stuck with since I almost died from that head injury at the crater. Frowning, and not one of them was he covered in scars. It's hard to imagine him surviving some of the wounds he's obviously endured in the time we've been apart." End quote. So the question, are the scars from him putting back together Slotra's moon or from something else? And will we ever actually find out where these scars came from?
Did you think it was from the moon shards? Because he talks about how he cut himself when he was putting it together.
I think it could be from that. I don't know. I think a lot of his scars too, though, are from maybe his time with the Jokul clan.
I thought that was before he met Elowen, so he already had all those scars. I'm pretty sure. Because when he meets her, he has his Malmer from the Jokul clan. So I think his time was before. Because his dad sent him there immediately after he started hearing the songs, which would be like
Okay.
before Elowen came to Dom. That makes
Maybe.
sense.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, oh, it was scars from that. And then I was like, wait, I don't think. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I feel like it would be really cute if those scars did come from him trying to put Slotra back together because it just shows his dedication.
Damn. But if you're Fae, why do you have scars?
I wonder if the shards give off permanent injuries since
Yeah,
they
I
are
guess they are magical dragons.
Yeah.
I have no idea. All right, I want to talk about a Vea theory about her little magical bracelet slash her shape shifting ability, possibly. On my first read, I completely missed how she either shapeshifted or used her magical bangle to do so. I did a whole section on the mystery of this magical bracelet last episode and also her memory loss, and now I'm just more confused, honestly. So let's go over the quote. Coming to an ornamental mirror on the wall, I paused, tucking strands of pale hair behind my pointed ears, checking my sharp, pretty features and blue eyes for any cracks in my imitative appearance. Jarring as it is to see myself as not me. End quote. So she clearly isn't just wearing the clothes of the servant she knocked out. Because Tyroth, I'm pretty sure he would recognize his own sister if she was just wearing like the clothes and pulled up her hair or whatever. So she's clearly wearing the skin of another. So I'm assuming probably likely the bracelet itself is what's helping her to like switch skins since she deemed it so necessary to risk her life so that she could go and get this diary. But I have to ask, could she possibly just be a shape shifting fae? Maybe the Bengal helps her control the shift. I don't know. Interesting. We haven't learned about any shape shifting type fae in this world, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist,
Dude, you're on to something. Because I
right?
always ask myself why she took the extra trip to go even get the bangle in the first place when her, like, the whole point of the mission was to go get the diary. Like, she never specified why she needed the bangle. And I
Yeah.
wondered, like, why she even took that extra trip to even go do that when she could have just went straight to Tyroth's palace just to get the diary.
Yeah. I wonder if she is like a shape shifting fae. All right, and while we're still talking about Vea, I want to discuss her hatred for Tyroth and how it'll tie into the next couple books. Because she clearly has a lot of hatred towards him, but like also Rave also very much does. Well, she
Yeah.
doesn't realize she does, but she does.
Yeah.
So, quote, not like this, not coming at him from behind, wearing the skin of another. I want to look him in the eye, make him bleed the way I've bled, hurt the way I've hurt. I want to spit the words that have been festering in my mouth for far too long. Anything less will be like a sip of water that turns into lava in my throat. End quote. And this made me start thinking, is Vea going to be the one that kills Tyroth or Rave? Personally, I think Rave should get first dibs. But we
Of
also don't
course.
know the extent of what Tyroth did to Bea or what he was a part of in terms of Elowen's murder. But Bea also, she didn't get to kill their father as Khan did, who probably did like the majority of her trauma. But I'm curious how this revenge is going to play out in future books. Like maybe it won't be Vea or Rave that kills him. It could be someone else too.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Vea too. We've barely scratched the surface of Rave's trauma, but the mystery of Vea is just so weird because I just want to know all the answers right away.
Yeah, especially with her memory loss. That's the biggest thing I want to know about.
Yeah,
Like why? I wonder if if she was a shapeshifter, would that be a reason why she had memory loss for so long?
maybe. Maybe she shifted into something and couldn't come back out of it. And maybe that was like the blank, but like
Yeah,
what and why?
yeah. So I want to talk about the theory that deals with Kaisari and the Scavenger King and how that's going to come into play in the next book. So the Scavenger King is studying her and he starts to notice how much she looks like Rave. Quote, a shapely elegance the likes of only one he's encountered before, his firelark. She holds such uncanny resemblance, end quote. We can piece together that the Scavenger King probably didn't know who Rave was in her past life, but now that he is noting the likeness, he's putting the puzzle together pretty quickly. And so that's definitely going to be like a big ish conflict, I think, in the next book. I kind of wonder if he's going to use this information against Con and Rave. I'm assuming he will, but we'll see how it plays out. Okay, I have one more theory you want to talk about. It's kind of one I just came up with today, and it's about Rave's flashbacks, and it's about the specific flashback she has while climbing up to Leary. Quote, me, aboard the back of a vibrant feathered beast gliding through the sky, an oppressive heat pressing down on me as screams rip my throat raw. A bloody, blistered moon plume bobbing through the air behind me, tethered to my wake, rays of golden light glinting off her big glistening eyes that weren't fit to peer at the sun, that lost their sparkle, then faded into a dark gray, light gray, paler. End quote. And I came up with this crazy theory that Rave's flashbacks throughout any point in the book are actually things that Slatra is pushing through her internal lake. Of course, it could be the other option, like it's just triggered by the actions that she's doing or stuff she's thinking about. But I feel like if it was triggered by her actions, wouldn't she have a flashback of climbing onto Slatra's back since she's climbing onto Leary instead of watching Slatra burn while she rides the molten maw? That feels very specific to see at that time. And I kind of wonder if Slatra was like, look at this.
Yeah.
And previously, we have noted that Sasha will chase things that Rave discards into her mental trauma lake. And it may be possible that she like pushes things she grabs like back up to Rave. And that's when she gets a flashback. And we know in chapter 35, she's the one that threw Elowen's past emotions back up to Rave before she was going to kill Khan. And then that's when they end up almost banging. So this could be unimportant, and it probably is, but it's still something I thought was interesting. Maybe this is Slatra's way of like easing her into the horrors of her past, you know?
I think, oh my gosh, you're on one. You come up with all these like cool theories. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love that.
Thanks.
I actually
Thank
love
you.
that. And I think, like, honestly, and when we were discussing chapter 35, we were talking about how good of a wing woman Slatra was for making her relive those moments. So it could be possible because it, from the way it looks from reading the book, like Slatra is in control of the lake. So I don't know. Maybe Slatra is like, she has a bigger goal here and she's slowly trying to get Rave to remember tidbits of her life to slowly put together one big puzzle. I don't know. That's interesting. I like that.
I wonder if at some point if the lake is just not going to exist anymore
Yeah.
because she's not going to bury all her stuff deep down.
So
I feel like it's going to stick around for a little.
I wonder, like in future books, if Rave is going to understand at some point that Slatra is the other and is her like alter ego, or if she's gonna find out that Slatra's essence is in her, and like how would that affect her in future stories,
Mm-hmm.
or if she'll be able to just be able to switch back and forth between the other and her like unconscious.
All right, let's move on to our favorite notable moments slash quotes where we just talk about all the things we love that aren't really foreshadowing or a theory.
Right. So my one of my favorite like parts of this stretch of chapters is just the amount of answers that we get. I feel like throughout the whole book, I was so focused on just solving the big mystery that was revealed, which was Elowen and Ray basically being the same person. And I feel like there are so many things that are still just left unsaid. But I still do think that we get a lot of answers this stretch of chapters. For one, we finally can piece together that the other is definitely Slatra. And a quote that I think that really made it click for me was, quote, "He begins to tremble beneath her, the room packing so full of the smell of roasted flesh that the other realizes how hungry she is, not that she intends to eat him," end quote. So I feel like that quote like really locked it in, like, oh yeah, girl, like this is Slatra. This is definitely Slatra.
She wants to eat him.
Burnt flesh is appealing to her. Like, this is a dragon. I'm honestly just obsessed with that scene in particular because obviously justice was finally served and Rexaros, he's dead now. He's gotten away with so much and honestly too much throughout this book, and it was time that somebody filleted him. I also love all the answers that the diary entries give us. We get a lot of answers about her and Kaizari's connection, and we get a lot of answers about her death, or just like some leading answers towards her death. I just love all the cliffhangers we get, all the little juicy stuff that Sarah just pops in there for us to be like, what's about to happen? So I love that.
Yeah. It wasn't like one big cliffhanger. It was like a bunch of little ones peppered
It
in.
was so many. So many.
There's a lot to think about for the next book.
Yeah. It's reminded me of Sarah J. Maas. Because Sarah J. Maas just feeds you like the last 100 pages. It's just smacking you back to back. Just like bow, 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 bow.
Yeah. Just abuse.
My next favorite part, obviously, was the part where Leary was introduced. It would be wrong if I didn't bring up the new dragon that was introduced in the stretch of chapters. I think the moment between Rave and Leary was just so beautiful, as Kana said earlier. It was just given like these two broken little things becoming such an epic and dynamic duo. I think their little relationship and the next book is going to be so cute, and Leary is going to become one of my favorite characters probably because, oh my god, it was just, their union was just so cute. I loved it. And then my next favorite part was the mystery of Vaya. So I love the mini adventure that Bea goes on to retrieve Elowen's old diary. However, we do get some small snippets of her past. So we know that she once had the bangle and she got rid of it. So she had to go on a little side adventure to go get that. Then we know that there was this big blank in her head where she just doesn't remember what happened. So now we're like, what's going on? Then we know that her birth caused her mother's death. And that caused a lot of trauma in her life, and her father blamed her for her mother's death. So we got some of that going on. So we do want to know about her trauma too. So I feel like there's a lot of different things that Sarah A. Parker has opened up for us to really look forward to in the future books as far as Bea. So excited for that.
Yes.
I like to talk about the romance. And I think Kana and I actually traded places with this book because she's been obsessed with the romance while I've just been so busy trying to put the pieces together and solve all these mini mysteries that I just overlooked the romance. But I would finally like to take a second to appreciate the romance because Luke Vagor is just, he's the man. We love him. We love him. He's so sweet. I love the way that he treats Rave. And one of my favorite quotes this set of chapters came from a diary entry, and it is, quote, Khan may never know he's everything to me, that I'd fall just to watch him fly, end quote. Thought that was just so cute. And then, like, I just love their matchup. I love how he's just really calm and he takes care of her so well, and like she's just like really fiery and snappy, but he's just like, I don't know, he still loves her and he still shows that he loves her, and as much as she likes to ignore it, like she knows that she loves him too.
It's funny you're saying how I'm obsessed with romance in this one, and I really was. But my favorite moments are about Khan. I had to dedicate some serious time to talk about him. So, of course, the first one's about Khan. Some of my favorite moments throughout this stretch is whenever he like handles Rave and her reluctance to build connections. And I know this man has got to be so frustrated at this point. Like he has infinite patience with her. And then he finally gets to a point where he's starting to be more firm, and I'm just like, ooh la la. And the reason he's doing this is because one, he knows she needs to be told about the fact that she has a daughter, and she can't leave without knowing that. And two, Rave also told Khan when she was super drunk that she was only trying to run away so that she didn't have to watch him die. So he knows that fear and trauma is motivating her actions, and he's drawing a line in the sand and saying, "Fuck it, I'm gonna keep you. God damn it." He knows that this is what she really wants and needs, so he's finally able to be more firm about it. And one quote that I really love that I wanted to just repeat, quote, "You seem to be under the illusion that I'm going to drop every bone you accidentally toss my way simply because you command it. But that was before I watched your entire body knot like you're being fucking tortured in your dream." He growls with enough fortitude to dissolve my next breath. "Now, my beautiful, spectacular, indignant moonbeam. Let's try this again." End quote. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
We love Khan.
Oh my god, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna take a break from Khan, but I will be circling. One of my favorite moments was also when Rave and Leary bond. Of course. I almost cried at this moment because it was just like, ah. Well, mostly because it was just like painful to read how Leary was abused by Wreck, and then it was also beautiful that Ray bonds with her since they've both been tortured and had terrible traumatic experiences at the hands of sadistic assholes. And Wreck even says Leary and the assassin who chomped on his fingers are, quote, feral bitches. And I gotta say, put me in the feral bitches club because it sounds awesome. We need to make that merch.
No, I love that. Actually, I love that. I love that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we need to write this down.
I'm on it.
And then it can be Raven Leary on it. Oh, like Kenzie, I can't wait to see how their relationship is going to grow in the next two books. So I can't help but wonder if Teenage Leary is going to be like a sassy little thing, kind of like Andarna was in Iron Flame, very sassy.
Yes.
And I'm also wondering, is she going to be able to communicate with Slatra through Rave? Because we know that Slatra and Rygan have communicated through Rave, like without her consent. And so I'm wondering if her and Slatra are going to be chatting it up.
Question.
Yes.
Okay, so I know Leary was getting healed, but was Leary ever just aware of Rave's presence after she arrived to the burn? Was there like a moment when Leary just knew like Rave was there?
I don't know. When she climbs up the cliff, I think Leary notices her immediately and they have a moment.
I wonder if Leary can
I don't
like,
know if that's why she bonded with her. It's because she can
yeah,
sense like the dragon in her.
yeah,
She's
that's
got that
interesting.
dog in her. All right, and as promised, we're gonna circle back to Khan, the man that you are. He is in my top 5 book boyfriends, and this is why.
This is
There
why.
was 0 red flags throughout almost entire 700 pages, and I just love the way he is written by Sarah A. Parker. Here's a quote. He's a picture of savage regard, a fierce, sturdy presence. With his beast at my back and this massive, impenetrable male at my front, I should feel small. I don't. He's only ever made me feel vast, mighty even. I feel like this quote summed up is one of the biggest reasons why I love him so much, and it's because he places Rave's needs and her future above his own, and he always wants what's best for her, even if it's not the best for him. And he's just like her rock, her quiet place, standing by her through anything and loving her harder than anyone else could. And he just makes her feel big and worthy and beautiful. And that's my dissertation on why Con Bagor is the bomb.com.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, my last favorite moment. I just want to talk about the last line of the book because I was like, dang, okay. Quote, these pages are going to rip the world to shreds, end quote. This is such a powerful way to end the book, really setting up how much is going to happen in book 2 and driving us all crazy with excitement and many theories. And I can only wonder how it's going to go when Feyre arrives back in Dom with the diary and the knowledge within it. I wonder who she's going to give it to first. And I wonder what's going to happen when this news finally gets out to the Fade and the Shade.
That should be the book opening right there. We don't need to go to any other scene but Vea giving us the answer. That's how this book needs to open up. I doubt that's going to happen. All right, folks, time to close out our chapter chat section and move on to our myths and magic portion, where we will dive into the mythology that inspired When the Moon Hatched, as well as explaining a world building topic. Today, we will be doing an age and time breakdown. Feel free to skip ahead to our mini series if you feel like you're already an expert.
Yes. All right, let's have the mythology first. I found a couple interesting name meanings. All right, so Arkin, which is the scavenger king's name, is actually of Norse origin, and it's a majestic name denoting, quote, eternal king's son. So I thought that was interesting that it was like denoting royalty because he is the king's bastard, I guess. And then Leary, I found a name meaning for her. It's a feminine name of Hebrew and Albanian origins, derived from the Hebrew names Lyrit or Lirin. I don't know if I'm saying those right, so sorry if I'm not. It translates to musical or my song. I thought that was cute. No idea if that's where she got Leary from, but it's just cute. I don't know. I love her.
That's kind of cute, though. I like that. Because
Yeah, I like
it almost sounds like lyric. Okay, now we're going to talk about the magic and world building. We're going to talk about the age and time breakdown. S and BS, not that kind of BS. Get your head out the gutter. It references
the it's just bullshit.
well, I don't know.
I'm
I mean,
sorry,
bullshit is kind of explicit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
The gutter's everything explicit.
That's how I pictured it in my head. I don't know.
We're defining what the gutter means.
Comment below what you think the gutter means. Like, or how do you use the gutter? Important. Yeah.
Yeah, let us know. How do you gutter?
How do you gutter?
I don't like that word. I've said it so many times now. I'm like, ugh. Gross.
So AS and BS reference to tracking of time and phases after and before the Ether Stone. I was about to say Aether. I was like, wait.
That was close.
The Ether Stone was gifted to the Nabon family line. The world does not rotate like ours does, and the aurora ribbons in the sky are tethered to both south and north poles of the world, orbiting the world on this axis. The ribbons themselves, bands of silver luminous light, are what the Fae and creatures use to track their sleep and awake time. An aurora cycle is equivalent to our 24-hour day and equals the amount of time it takes for the aurora ribbons to orbit the world once. The aurora rise and fall is basically akin to sunrise and sunset, but aurora ribbons instead. I'm sorry, I have to really try with that word.
You were fighting that word with your life. I could feel it. All right. Day is referring to the time the aurora is tracking through the sky overhead, moving across the sky, kind of like our sun. It is also when most people are awake, and then slumber is the time when most are asleep, when no aurora ribbons paint the sky. A phase is 1,000 aurora cycles, akin to a year in our world. The little ribbons will grow thicker over the course of the phase, then thin out on the 1,000th cycle. An eon is 100 phases, which would be 100,000 aurora cycles. And through this time breakdown, we can explain the ages of the characters. So one phase of life is 1,000 aurora cycles, and 24 phases of life is 24,000 aurora cycles. So our journal entries open in this book with Elowen at 9 phases, which is approximately 9,000 cycles or days. In our time, 9 years would be roughly like 3,200 days. So clearly, the Fae age and time works much differently than ours does. And so, when Elowen went to Netherin with Hadian at 9 phases, she was older than I pictured her to be.
Yeah, because the number 9 is just so small. So I did picture her to be like a 13-year-old child or something.
Yeah, I was thinking like a 9-year-old. I was like, this girl's gangster.
Also, I feel like you said Aurora so easily.
I don't know. Maybe it's your Memphis accent. It makes it hard.
The
for, like,
R's are crazy
back
for
to
me.
back.
The R's are crazy. Like we
There
were
it
talking
is.
about horror earlier. I can't say that word right. It's the R's. Moving on, time for our mini-series Mix and Match, where every week Kana and I will do 2 to 3 mini-series unique to our podcast. They won't be the same every week, so keep tuning in for all the fun. First up is 3 predictions for book 2, followed by unhinged one-sentence summaries, a segment where we will try to explain the plot in 1 sentence. Up first, Kana.
Aw, thanks. All right, my first prediction is that Rave is going to wield rain / all the snow in the shade. I feel like she's going to have a badass moment where she goes back to Erythia and uses rain. Just snowballs flying.
I can see that. I think you said that earlier too, like when we first started talking about it, how you were interested to see how she
Yes,
wields
I've been
rain.
thinking about this for like the entire book. And then my next prediction is that Con and Ray will be confirmed as mates. And
I
I'm
like
convinced
that.
they're mates. Yeah, in one of the chapters here, there's a time when he bit her neck, which I think that's how a lot of the Fae act towards their mates in a lot of books. And so I was like, interesting. All right. My next prediction is that Vea is going to kill one of her brothers.
Oh yeah,
I don't know who yet, but she's going to get her revenge.
yeah.
I'm thinking. Yes.
I like those. I feel like all of those, I can see those happening.
All right. Tell me your predictions. I want to hear them.
Okay, so my first prediction, I think that the Scavenger King is going to play the Murder Twins and Khan against each other and potentially start a war that way. But like him being like the puppet in the background. So him not actually fighting in the war, but him starting a war between his brothers.
Yes. I was hoping that Khan would play the Scavenger King against Kadok and Tyroth, but I don't think that's going to happen because we know that the Scavenger King is obsessed with killing Khan and ruling the
Yeah.
burn specifically.
That's weird. I wonder why he wants the burn.
He's just mad at Khan because he killed their father when Arkin wanted to be the one to kill their father.
A lot of people wanted to kill.
Real mad. I
A
know.
lot
I'm
of people
like, I'm
wanted to kill
sorry he
Austin.
beat you to it. Maybe you should have done it sooner.
Literally, so it spared all of us the heartache because Austin was rough. My next prediction, I think that Rave is going to deliver the killing blow to the Scavenger King.
Ooh.
I think she'll be the
like
one
that.
to off him. Obviously, I feel like if they don't let her get the killing blow,
And it needs to be her, not Slatra.
yeah.
I feel like Ray would be pissed at Slatra if she was like, go into mine jail. I'm killing him for you. I'd be so pissed. Especially after what he did to her. So messed up.
So my next prediction is obviously I think there's going to be a war that happens, and I think that Rave is going to play a very crucial part in the war by wielding all 5 elements, not just 4, but all 5.
Oh, with Kalis too? Oh, damn. That's out there. That's a brave prediction,
I
I
mean, because
guess.
she once bared the Ether Stone. So if she sets him free, will that allow other people to be able to will him as well?
That would be crazy. That would be crazy. I haven't really thought that far ahead yet. Dang. I like it. All right, let's do our unhinged one sentence summaries. And we're blind reacting because we came up with them separately.
Yeah. So, When the Moon Hatched is the explicit version of How to Train a Dragon, but when the main female character trips and falls, then becomes angry with the world, and then bangs her brother in law.
That was good. That was real good. Banging her brother-in-law. Oh, that's a good one. All right, are you ready for mine?
Yeah.
When the moon hatched. A girl that reincarnates as half dragon refuses to go to therapy while trying to escape / murder the only wholesome man she's ever met.
Yep. Basically.
Yes. That's exactly how I'm going to describe it to people.
Basically.
All right, this isn't necessarily a mini series, but I did want to talk about this video that we saw. It's actually an excerpt from book 2 that Sarah A. Parker did in an interview with Gavin Bale. He's a booktuber, I think. So he asked her for an out of context spoiler for book 2, and she responded with a quote from the Ballad of Falling Dragons, which I believe is the first ever sneak peek or like excerpt from it. I haven't seen any other ones. Do you want to read the quote?
Shua. Okay. Quote. Her many truths sit like stones in my den, waiting to be found. You are the brightest of them all, perhaps the reason she has been so cautious of it. In her life, the brightest lights wink out. His face twists painfully, his hands balling as a fist so tight, his knuckles turn white. His next words strained. Who hurt her? Too many. Those stories are not mine to share, Con Bagor.
I was looking at this and I was like, who is he talking to? Who's talking?
Yeah.
So it's obviously Khan is one of them. And I feel like he's talking about Kaizari. Like, you are the brightest of them all. Perhaps the reason she's been so cautious of it.
Yeah.
Like, I thought whoever was speaking is talking about Kaizari, but also it could be about Khan. I don't know.
Also, like, whose point of view has this been told in as well?
Yes.
So many questions.
I don't know. Is it Khan talking to a man? I'm so confused.
Well, we know that Khan is the one who's asking who hurt her. And then somebody saying too many. And then somebody saying that those stories aren't mine to share. And they're addressing Khan when they say that.
So it's 3 people?
Maybe. It might be 3 people.
Oh. Dang.
But also, like, who are they talking about? Because it could be so many people.
Well, who is it, like, that knows Rave's stories? Like, her stories aren't theirs to share. Like, how does he know her stories?
The Scavenger King knows. I think Vea now knows since she read the diary entries now.
Well, neither of them know about the Firelark time, which was, like, arguably the worst.
Okay, yeah. So the only person that would, like, I know off the top of my head that knows is the Scavenger King because he was there. Or maybe he's talking to Slatra.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
I don't know. I just wanted to put it out there since we're closing out When the Moon Hatched, so we can talk about it really quick. And I guess next October we'll see where exactly this fits in the book. Yeah. Before we close out our episode today, time for Trial by Trivia. Each week, Mackenzie and I will give each other and our listeners 2 trivia questions. At the end of When Our Moon Hatched coverage, we will tally up who has the most points between hosts. A loser will have to do something embarrassing or funny that the winner or you guys as fans come up with. And also, we would love to hear your feedback, ideas, and participation in this section. So please reach out. Let us know what you would like to see us do that's stupid and embarrassing, because we'll do it.
I'm looking up the score because I put it on the post. Okay, you have 4, I have 2.5. Okay. What was the name of the servant that Vea disguised as?
Dang, son. We learned that? Oh, no. Stacy.
That's too common. It's not even like a fake name.
I know. What was it?
It was Ada. Ayda.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. What bar / hotel / brothel does Rec visit in Bothame?
Something Snog. Wait, hold on. I knew I should have held on to this information when we talked about it. I knew it. Okay. No, it was something Trog. Was it Trog or Snog? Mm. Um. Mm. I'm not giving up. Give me a second.
I'm being awful generous right now.
The Velvet Snog.
Oh, you cheated.
No, I didn't. My hands are crossed.
I believe you. You got it. But to be fair, I gave you like a whole minute to answer, if not more.
Yeah. I had to think, bro. I was lost. I had to go back to my memory.
Your turn.
Okay. What were Rex Zaros' last words before he died?
Damn, Mackenzie, you're coming for my life.
I feel like this is easy. We talked about this, bro.
Oh, shit. Okay, I get some time too.
Yeah, you take your time. Take your time. I'm telling you, you know it.
I give up.
No, like you know it. I'm gonna wait for a second. I'm gonna let you think about it. You know
it. Is it like get up or something, or like you bitch or something? Damn. Oh my god, you better not get the next one.
His last words were, "Nobody survives that place unless you're trying to tell me you're Fire Lord." Those were the last words he said, and I think that kind of triggered Satra, and she just killed him after that. He didn't say anything else after that. Interesting. That's all I was saying. Like you know it.
She was torturing him. He was saying you're dead. He was trying to say you're dead, and that's when Satra was like, "You're right, I am."
Yeah, no. Yeah, the last words were, "Unless you're trying to tell me you're Fire Lord."
So I completely sucked at trivia today. All right, you ready for yours?
I think so. I'm scared.
What is the name of the escort that Rek plans on murdering and stealing his dragon?
Well, I am.
Well,
The escort from the Velvet Snog.
Yeah, he was snogging.
Ryan. I don't know.
Not me with Stacy and you with Ryan. Ryan and Stacy can date.
No, for real.
It was Taros.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
Not even close.
Oh my god. I was so close to coming back though.
Dude, you were half a point down. I gotta figure out what I want you to do. I want you to like get whipped cream and just like bam.
It's in my own face, or should Cameron do it?
Cameron should do it for sure. 100%.
Okay.
Okay, I've decided. We haven't had anyone reach out to us and suggest anything, so Mackenzie's gonna get bam with whipped cream by her boyfriend.
Yeah. He's gonna love that too.
He's gonna love that. That sounds sexual.
Now you're in the gutter. Now I can say you can get your head out the gutter.
I'm definitely in the gutter, but come on. All right, that is a wrap, folks, on this episode and our entire When the Moon Hatch coverage. Oh, so sad. Oh. But we will see you next week for Quicksilver. So thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed discussing this book with us and appreciate the support you have shown us this early in our adventure.
Join us next Thursday for our Quicksilver coverage, where we will be covering chapters 1 through 9, pages 1 through 132 for your reread or refresh your memory. Hey, I'm actually prepared for the first episode of Quicksilver because I've read chapters 1 through 9.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about spoilers.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah, what the fuck you think, bro? That's why I've been like, damn, you're really putting it off. It's stressing me out. I was like, I guess she's going to binge it this week.
I've been trying.
Oh, honey, you just got to get to like when he says one specific line and you're in.
Okay.
All right. As always, we appreciate any and all feedback from you guys, our wonderful, wonderful listeners. Please reach out to us on socials. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't, or just reach out if you want to talk about books, When the Moon Hatch, Quicksilver, anything. This is a new podcast, and we would like to see it grow with your help. So please take the time to leave us a review. Follow us on social media at Shadow and Starlight Pod. Listen to us on all major podcast platforms for a freshly baked episode to be delivered to you next week.
Bye, friends. See you next week.
Bye, lovelies. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. We'll see you next week.